It's 7 p.m. Daniel is still in his car in the parking lot. He got a performance review 3 hours ago. It wasn't a disaster. The feedback was honest, parts of it kind. But by midnight tonight, he'll have built an entire case against himself that not a single other person in the building is building. A Roman emperor named exactly why this happens, and exactly what to do about it. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the world for 2 decades. He also kept a private journal full of notes to himself about how to stop suffering unnecessarily. One distinction runs through it: the sting and the verdict. The sting is what happens. A criticism, a loss, a setback. It's real. It belongs to the world. The verdict is the sentence you hand down afterward. About yourself. About your life. About what the sting means. Marcus's claim was that almost all human suffering comes from confusing them, treating the verdict as if it also came from outside. It didn't. You issued it, then forgot you did. Watch how this happens. The review was routine until it wasn't. Daniel had 4 good years on the team. He walked in expecting a 3rd strong review. His manager opened with the usual preamble, the thank you, the difficult quarter, and then the tone shifted. It wasn't dramatic. The conversation moved from what he'd done well to what he hadn't, and stayed there. The criticisms weren't unfair. They were things he'd vaguely known, that he avoided difficult conversations, that his communication had thinned, that he'd been treating his role as a series of tasks. He knew. He'd been hoping nobody else had. The written feedback was 3 pages. "Take some time with this," his manager said, kindly. That was almost worse. That was the sting. 3 pages, 20 minutes. Specific. Finite. Over at 4:30. Here's where Marcus's distinction gets interesting. Because the mind does the swap automatically. You don't decide to do it, you just do it. The sting was bounded. 3 pages, a real meeting, finite things to work on. But the mind doesn't tolerate bounded pain easily. So it expands. I have things to work on quietly becomes I am a fraud. I need to have harder conversations quietly becomes I have been wrong about who I am for 4 years. The translation happens in seconds, and it always inflates. The sting was specific. The verdict is global. The sting was about what you did. The verdict is about who you are. The sting had an end date. The verdict doesn't. And the verdict feels exactly like the sting, like the world handed it to you. It didn't. You did. The world handed you 3 pages. By 9 p.m., Daniel is reading the document for the 2nd time. By 10 p.m., the 3rd. By 11 p.m., he has stopped reading and started narrating. To himself. About himself. He's a fraud. He's been a fraud for 4 years and they finally caught it. The previous reviews must have been pity. He should have seen it. Anyone competent would have. The narration loops. Each revolution adds something. A meeting where he could have spoken up and didn't. A Friday he left at 4. Each item proves the case. By midnight he's not reading the feedback anymore. He's sitting with it closed in front of him, and his mind is doing what minds do when given 7 hours of grievance. The sting ended at 4:30. The verdict is still arriving at midnight, hour by hour, signed by him. Marcus's instruction, when you boil it down, is one move. When the sting hits, feel it. It's real. Don't pretend it isn't. But when the verdict starts forming, the global sentence, the I am sentence, the conclusion about who you are, refuse to sign for it. That refusal is the whole practice. You don't argue with the verdict. You don't talk yourself out of it. You notice it as a separate thing from the sting and decline to treat it as fact. It sounds small. It is small. It is also the difference between losing a night and losing a week. Wednesday morning, Daniel leaves at the usual time. He's reread the 3 pages. He has a plan for the work. Not a plan for who he is. A plan for what he does next. His manager catches him in the hall. "How are you doing with it?" she asks. "Just with it. The feedback, the thing itself." He says, "I think I built it into something larger than it was. I'm going to work on what you flagged." She nods. The conversation he'd imagined 100 ways across Monday night takes about 11 seconds in real life. The sting is what arrives. The verdict is what you sign for. Marcus wrote it in fewer words to himself. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Almost all of what we call being hurt is the verdict. You don't have to sign. A series on Stoic philosophy for the moments you're actually in.